Hey, my name's Luke Schellenberger. I'm an ENT doc. So, a lot of people have asked and talked about vaccines. Okay, I've hear people frequently say, "I get the flu vaccine and I still got the flu that one year," or "I haven't taken the flu vaccine and I don't ever seem to get the flu." What's up with this vaccine? Is it really going to make any difference? And I think the flu vaccine is a little bit more challenging than other vaccines for diseases we kind of take for granted. And I'm going to talk about one called measles. Okay, um, measles is not something that we see very often in the United States, well, because we have a vaccine for it, and it's largely been wiped out. There's rare situations where measles will pop up, and occasionally patients will say, "Measles? Who cares about that? Isn't it just a rash or something? What? I mean, what's the big deal?" Um, Before the measles vaccine came around, about 48,000 people in the U.S. got infected with the virus about every year. About 1,000 people a year got encephalitis, swelling of the brain. About 400 or 500 people died. Those are kind of the scarier things. Death, obviously, you don't want to die from measles. But one thing that is pretty well understood is that measles in a lot of situations can cause hearing loss, and that probably about 10% of people who had measles would get an ear infection, and a fair number of those patients would become deaf. And so before the measles vaccine came around, 5 to 10% of all causes of deafness in the United States was due to the measles virus. Well, that's gone away now because of a vaccine. So when we're talking about vaccines, their effectiveness, how well they work, I cannot speak for the COVID-19 virus. It's very, very new, and it's a very new way it's a very new vaccine. It's a very new way of treating patients. It's different than other vaccines in the way that it works. That said, at least in the case of the measles virus, we've wiped out what used to be 5 to 10% of the causes of deafness in the United States. And so, from my standpoint, I can't speak specifically about the COVID-19 virus because, again, it is so new, but I can at least say, in general, vaccinations, at least for measles and for other, really terrible diseases like smallpox and things like that, have been wiped out, which is a good thing. So, whereas some vaccines are kind of controversial, I'd certainly be pretty happy to not get measles and not become deaf from it. All right?